Hey there, welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is that you determined to be the most effective time to be listening to these daily prompts. Today, we're going to be talking about leaving the pain behind. And I'm sure this feels like a really natural progression, but it's truly important. So sit down, take a deep breath, get a pen, get a piece of paper. I don't know, whatever's truly been effective for you as a way to remind you to do the observation and the work throughout the next 24 hours or until you listen to the next prompt. Because leaving the pain behind, or should I say, even better yet, learning how to observe and visualize yourself letting go is what we're going to lean into today, and it's truly important. So I mean, because think about it, what do? We hold on to it. Think of all the grudges or the wounds that you could just never forget or get over, or forgive somebody for, etc. Right? So letting go of emotional suffering associated with negative emotions it's really not the same thing as letting go of emotions themselves. So I don't want you to think I'm going to tell you, well, don't feel anything. We're just going to, visualize ourselves letting it go, and all of the pain and the frustration and everything's just going to, I'm just not going to feel it anymore. I'm not going to have it, because that's not the spirit of this, because we need to have emotions. Emotions are amazing. They teach us things. They're indicators that we're actually alive and present and experiencing what's going on in our present moment. So, I'm not trying to teach you how to not have emotions. I'm just saying we got to let go of some of that emotional suffering associated with negative emotions. So letting go of the suffering is an actual process that we need to learn, and we can learn. And again, it does not mean pushing it down or away, or even sitting on the emotions. But it's understanding that these emotions are valid and they represent experiences and interactions that were or are painful. And sometimes they're good, right? But generally speaking, we want to know how to sit in and move through and effectively and purposely get through the painful things, right? So what we're talking about here is dealing with emotions, and in a new way that will actually relieve some of the suffering that goes along with them. Okay. So in learning to let go of our emotional suffering, we want to use mindfulness skills. So the observe and describe skills are effective here, because this is how we actually learn to get some distance from our emotions, by standing back and observing them. Now, if we can get that distance, we can now see more clearly. So if we lean back into this a little bit, right? Like it's a mindfulness. So how am I going to observe and describe this painful emotion? Like, oh my gosh, if we lean into what we talked about yesterday, because we're irritated because somebody is telling us we're being rude, or whatever's happening, like, whoa, like let's create some distance, right? Like, oh, help me understand, like, what part of what I just said is causing you to feel like I'm being rude, right? Like, help me understand what part of that was rude. And so we're getting some distance. We're asking for information, because like, wow, I feel myself getting irritated and annoyed and angry because you're not hearing my true intention. So like, let's like observe ourselves, like, oh, I'm just getting mad because they aren't understanding my choice of words, or they're not able to see my true intention. So if we're looking at that, we're looking at it, we're describing it, like it's really not about them, And there's a way to navigate through that. So I'm getting some distance from this. So, we want to try, again, creating that distance so that we can look at it more clearly. So, take this on yourself. Try getting some distance from a painful emotion that you have. Like, put it over there, right? Take a look at it. Maybe as if, almost like it was on a shelf. Maybe not that metaphoric shelf, but, maybe it's on your TV screen in front of you or a stage, right? Like, just move it over here. Let me take a gander at you. Step back. Let me see what you really look like. And then take the time to describe in words what that experience or what the experience of that emotion is like for you. In doing this exercise, in going through this, I know people are like, oh, I'm not going to imagine imagine this over here on a stage. But seriously, if you do this, it's going to also help give you the distance that you need and also perspective, which is truly critical. We got to slow things down. We can't just go, oh, I'm irritated, and just stay in that, attached to that. There's reasons. So we want to be able to let's be able to describe the whole thing. Let's quit broad brushing. Let's quit being surfacey. Let's get deep and real, because that's what true assertiveness is. It's open, honest, genuine, transparent, and authentic. So get real with these emotions. So we get to have them, and then we get to move on, right? We get to improve them going forward. So this is a skill, it's an art form, and it's something that, again, you can learn, but we do have to do the work around it. We do have to take the time. We do have to desire and want it. So in that, I'm going to leave you to do your observations for the day, and I will see you tomorrow.